Хоча покажу, як кожен спортсмен піднімає логліфт.
Покажи.
Можемо почати з Тірекса.
Ну давай. Бачиш стену? Давай.
Блядь, я шучу.
I'm so sorry. And your number is call an ambulance now!
Okay, that sucked. I forgot to turn on, first I forgot to turn on or plug in the microphone, which I took care of. Then I forgot to turn on the soundboard, which is just a small mixer. I am so sorry. Okay, let's see. Let's just rewind. Good. Everything I just stumbled saying, I can just say again. Hi, Hockey. Glad you're here. That's a good idea. Anyway, what are we opening tonight? Even though I already answered that in the chat, we'll just get through that. And we will jump down to, here we go. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. And I did mention in the chat that I have a SOTA press box that's like eight boxes down the chain, and let's see. But the guy, Chael here has voted for Haunted Pizza instead of Soda Press, so we'll wait for the Soda Press. What I was saying when y'all said no sound, I am so sorry, was that by the way, if the sound disappears again, it means that in my tiny mixer, which is battery operated, it means the battery's dead. So I've got to keep an eye on that. Anyway, there's a lot in the LCS from Gary Shipman, who does Mouse of Might. Not in this one, if I remember what was ordered correctly, but he shows up a lot. So between him and Haunted Pizza, I'm trying to space those out a bit. Otherwise, it becomes like the Gary Shipman, was it Mark Polton, Eric NINALTOWSKI fan club, which is fine. Those guys are great, but I want some variety. I did have somebody love Mouse of Might. Cool. I did have somebody almost be able to be on tonight, but he wasn't able to make it. So that's a little disappointing. Here we are. Gary Shipman products are top notch. They are. And I feel bad that I don't get to watch his streams, but I barely watch anybody's streams anymore. It's just time is like that. That's why I do try to keep my streams between 60 and 90 minutes, but I seem to get more viewers when I go over 90 minutes. I don't get it. Okay, so here on the Eric NINALTOWSKI fan club, I'm going to open some mail. and then we're going to look at a book I just finished reading with that I knew I was going to talk about anyway. Tonight we're going to look at Fall of Man, which arrived last week, and it's a little good, little bad. Well, little good, little needs help. That's how I'll put it. And then if I can focus, don't know if I can focus. I want to talk about Battlebrick Road, even though everybody's had it forever and I only just finally read it. But I do try to mix. I am trying to mix a little bit of things that are better known with things that are lesser known, if you know what I mean. So we'll see how that goes. All right. Unfortunately, there is no Gary Shipman this week. At least I believe there isn't. Thanks for warning me that there was no sound. There we go. Now I know how they pack these, so I know I'm not stabbing a book. We'll just... Oh, I finally recompressed my intro, but packing slip, here we go. Yep, there it is. I finally recompressed my intro so it would play. Excuse me a minute. But I didn't get to doing any editing on it this week, which kind of sucks. And I can see that there are some clips that are too long. There are clips I'd like to stick in. They really taped this thing. Okay. Packing slip. So there's tape all over this. Now I got to clean my knife. I think that's why you're all here. It's a tape ASMR. Hey Mo, how you doing? Mo, you missed my incredible screw up at the beginning. There we are. Okay. I feel very unprepared tonight. I don't know why. I didn't make any notes. That's probably why. All right, so we got, what did I get? I'm not sure about the Zora books yet. I've gotten a bunch of them. I still need to do some reading, so I'll just set that aside. I got the wrong lights on. One moment. See if I can make these in. Actually, you know what? That looks pretty good. I won't mess with the lights just yet. So those two are there. I need to read that. American Monsters, or yeah, American Mythology Monsters. I need to read that. So we'll not really show it off, but and Adventures Continue for Batman. Set these aside for a moment. Get to those in a sec. They're always so chill. I appreciate that, Dean. I try to be chill. I forgot to talk about jujitsu. I got my ass kicked. I totally forgot to talk about jujitsu. I appreciate that. Even though my opening song, the title of it is The Chemical Formula for Morphine. And if you knew the lyrics, the last thing you'd be thinking is chill. So, hey, Edwin, thanks for the retweet today. Yes, Liam Sharp. We've got Liam Sharp covers here. He's on Exo Man of War. So I am holding no grudges against, who are these guys? Valiant. And I hope that the writing inside is good. So here's 1 and 2. Take a look. Number 2. I know that Liam did only the covers, if I'm not mistaken, and I can be mistaken. In fact, it's one of my talents. Speaking of being mistaken, okay. I said, when I put something in somebody's chat, but there's a lot to it, I try to make it like short. And then I always screw up what I'm saying. Things don't get said right. I'm trying to remember what one of them was. Oh, yeah. they were talking on 80s Maid's stream about Tim Curry. And I remember, now, blacklisted in Hollywood doesn't always mean you get 0 jobs. It just means you might get smaller jobs, or if you deserve a lead role, you don't get it. You might get only a supporting role in a movie with a smaller budget and less marketing or something like that. So blacklisted in those terms is a little bit of a flexible term. And on 80s Maid, they were talking about Tim Curry, and I mentioned, yeah, after Rocky Horror, he was blacklisted a little bit, because that's what I've always been told. And, you know, if I'm wrong, well, I've just been told wrong for decades. But, and I'm not even a Rocky Horror fan. But then on 80s Maid, somebody looked him up, and they're like, what are you talking about? And of course, I can't explain all that in live chat, so I just let it go. But then on another 80s Maid, funny, I seem to make an ass of myself in their chat. They were talking. So here's the beautiful Liam Sharp cover. They were talking about how what was her name? Oh, no, his name, Van Gogh. Van Gogh cutting off his ear, and I mentioned something about the woman who received his ear. Yep, and it's actually a really big, complex story, and I just added a little to it, and they're like, I don't know if that's really the thing. at the same time that Admiral Wackass was rightfully calling me out for, hey, I don't really know if that's right. And of course, there'd be a bigger explanation. I won't tell it here. Somebody else is like, I think Blue is the smartest guy around. No, I am not. I get things wrong. Okay, for this book, we get writers of, I don't know those names. So Michael W. Conrad and Becky Clunan. Artist Liam Sharp. Yes, on the inside. Here we go. If Tim Curry was blacklisted, then how do you get that plum role as the Grand Wizard in the movie J.K. Rowling must have enjoyed The Worst Witch? What? You mean Labyrinth? Or that one where he's the devil? He's a great actor, too. Okay, here we go. So we're going to look at some Liam Sharp artwork here. In fact, I am going to mess with the lights. Leave that for you guys to see. If you ever need a workout book, Rebuilding Milo. I hope. Yeah, I think the camera likes all 3 of these. It's not Legend. It's called The Worst Witch. Oh, okay. Hey, I'd never heard of that one. I spent about 15 years totally disconnected from culture. That's when I stopped reading comics, too. So the paper on this is a little bit glossy, but thankfully it's not showing. Valiant has done this before. I remember this in the early 90s. They use like very thin magazine paper, which is apparently like super high quality, but you're always afraid of tearing it. So yeah, this is Liam Sharp's artwork. Incredible. This movie was from the 80s. There's so much my parents didn't let us have, believe me. And they showed on Nickelodeon. We didn't have cable. Yep, we did not have cable, did not have a VCR for a very long time. In fact, one of the circuits in our TV as a kid went out, and we had a black and white TV for a real long time. So this is great. Little shock in the difference in artwork here for the ad. Bloodshot was one of my favorites when the original series came out. Bloodshot and EXO. Man, this is cool. I'm sure Liam Sharp doesn't care about my opinion, but I like his work. Very heavy metal magazine. It's on YouTube. Okay. The Worst Witch. Huh. Great. Now I have more. Now I'm giving myself. I don't need more things to do. I'd love to see how he draws some of this, or how much of it he draws in a computer versus by hand. I need to check him out more. Yeah, that's cool. Okay, they show it on Nickelodeon every Halloween. All right, I think that's the end of issue 1. We'll take a quick glance at issue 2 and then look at the covers of some of the other stuff. Now, my mail order LCS, I generally get some stuff from them that, one, I was using them to collect. And so they, in order to get shipping the way they used to do their shipping, they have a discount on, or sorry, to offset the shipping. I was glad to see that they had a discount if you subscribed. So is this a new reboot? You know, I don't know if it's a full reboot or if it's just a next story. So after the story from Matt, what's his name? Matt, I don't want to say Wenger. That's wrong. Why do I have that name in my head? But yeah, after Matt's story, I forget his last name. I don't know if they're rebooting or what. I have to read it and find out. That I just got number 1 and 2 just now. So anyway, and I'm skipping a couple pages, by the way. Where was I? Oh, yeah. Great. I forgot what I was saying. Mo says, I read a lot of Valiant stuff around the time comics were going woke. It was mostly solid as long as you ignored Faith. Oh, okay. When, what's her name, got in there, man, I hate how names escape me once I go live. Anyway, when that editor, Antos, got in there, I noticed that she didn't destroy Bloodshot. You know, it wasn't great for a few issues, but she didn't like totally destroy it. Heather Antos, yes. Skipped a few pages. Whoa. I forgot what I was talking about. Doesn't matter. So this is interesting. The way I want to look and remember more about ad placement in books, because this always has to be compensated for when you put it in a trade paperback. So they always, you know, as you know, have to rearrange that you can't have double page spreads or page turns in you know, things that depend on a page turn if it's off, you know, because of one ad. Mo says that's when he stopped reading. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I want to see how Liam does all this. So that's cool. Let me put these away. Okay, I was talking about we had a black and white TV because some of the color circuits went out. Something came after that. I think it actually had to do with comics. Uh-oh. They put the boards in the wrong direction. Ah. Sinners. All of them. Anyway, welcome to my train wreck. Here we go. And I'm not going to flip through this, but I do like the covers. I'm glad that they're doing this one. Oh, subscriptions. That's right. So yeah, to get a discount on to offset the shipping, their discount for subscriptions is something I used. And my LCS for some reason doesn't really like ordering a lot of, at the time, doesn't like ordering a lot of, and yep, same artwork, same stuff. Oh, different. It's a little more childlike. Ooh, okay. But he doesn't like ordering a lot of indie stuff. He really likes just pushing, you know, unless you special order. He is generally okay with that. But for him, I don't know why he was turning down money at the time. And I was just like, okay, that's cool. The indie stuff I want to get, I will just get through the mail order one. Anyway, now this one, so that's because I'm getting these at a discount and they're cheap. Like literally they're $2.50 each instead of $4. I've decided to take a look at some of the American mythology stuff because of Mitch Rock something. I can't remember. I want to say Rockwell, but they are black and white, but their covers are awesome. So I want to see how the stories are. I'm going to be looking into this. Just want to show that off for a bit. So cool. Let's open the next thing. Let's see. Adventure continues is greater than the adventures continue. Okay. I'm just in season 3. That's it. Started picking it up. So as long as my LCS is leaving money on the counter, I am going to go use it to. I was going to go use it to go be able to back other comics. Which one's this? There we go. Haunted Pizza. I just mean as a title. Oh, okay. I was wondering because I didn't remember that other title existing. Yes, I got. Oh man, I need to clean this knife. So I got my butt just romped in jiu-jitsu tonight. I went to a second class, which I normally don't do because I have other things to do. Because I was just having a little trouble with the lesson, and afterwards, when we roll, there's some kid I've never seen before, and he looks like he's probably a senior in high school. So I'm going, yeah, I don't want to be too rough on him. Okay. Thank you. My cross-ashi sucks. Oh, this one. Okay. This is the anthology. And away with you. Cool. And there's stuff in the back. Nice. All right. We'll start with the stuff in the back. Anyway, I was having trouble with the lesson, so I went to a second class today. And afterwards, when we're rolling, there's this kid. And normally, I tend to be a little bit gentler with people who are new, new to me, because I don't know what their game is and how it's going to go. And so I will pick this anecdote up in a minute. Let's see. All right, what do we got here? Oops, we got shiny stuff here. We got really shiny stuff here. There we go. So I don't know all these characters. There's Sea Dog. Oh wait, yeah, okay. Yeah, I get it now. I'm looking at stuff upside down. It throws me off. Writhe in Pain. This is okay. This is just an ad. Yep, just a couple ads. So I mean, they're well drawn. It's cool art. And this looks like somebody's trying to take after or Chris Graves, and you all know him better than I do. But okay, it's an ad. So what is cool? I am so far behind on my reading. Anyway, Queen Madeline. I assume this is from our book. And first appears in Loose Threads graphic novel. That's why I don't know her. Madeline Elizabeth Verena was queen of the Aramor. Since birth, it was foretold she would destroy Aramor's fiercest enemy, the Necrodragon, with the capital N and capital D. All right. Power ratings, stamina, durability, all that kind of stuff. So there we are. Yeah. So before I tell you how I got my butt beat by a high schooler, I will look at the book. I don't think he's a high schooler. I think he's like 23. Anyway, here we go. Mark Bolton's Loose Threads. See what we got here. Writer Mark Bolton. Why am I reading upside down? Mark Bolton, Caesar Madaro. Colorist is Anthony George. Letterer Dexter Weeks. He didn't use. Oh my gosh. He didn't use Eric Weathers? No way. Anyway, cover A, George Perez, Caesar Madaro, and Anthony George. Cover B, Chris Graves, and Anthony George. Cover C, just by Madaro. Loose Threads, January 2023, Haunted Pizza. Okay. It's got that silky page texture that I kind of like, so that's cool. It's not entirely gloss. It's like semi-matte, semi-gloss. So it looks like, yeah, the way it's glued, this first page is glued to the cover just fine, but then it spreads a little. See how the next one goes. Okay. We don't know. Is this from the Emoji Movie? God, I hope not. I heard that thing was terrible. Oh, we got a double page spread with the dragon face, and he's speaking right in the gutter. That's a problem. I mean, his wings look nice, but if we have a speaking dragon, I'd like to see his face. Hey, butt. It's a lot more sparse on the words. We'll see more of that later. I think we've jumped stories. Nope. Okay. This always creeps me out. There we go. Pointing at the right thing. Is this from the Emoji Movie? Because this one reminds me of a book I started reading and didn't finish called The Extremist. And it was one of those that came out right after DC started the Vertigo imprint. Although I forget, I think it was on something else. It might not have been on DC's Vertigo, but it was at the same time. And so I was reading was it Sandman and other stuff like that. And they had a guy who looked like this. And I finished the book. It was strange. I mean, it was really strange. Like perversely perverted serial killer strange kind of thing. Anyway, I felt really gross after reading it. It was pretty bad. The closest I came to watching the Emoji Movie was a YouTube edit where every time there was a cringe joke, the playback speed doubled. The full movie was 3 minutes. Nice. Oh, violence. There we go. Yeah, I like this particular paper. I gotta look at what it was. Excuse me a minute. Well, the dragon's speaking again. Oops. There's a lot going on here. Oh, I see. Okay. Reading upside down doesn't help me. It's an inset panel, not she's stabbing through him creating this. All right. Okay, that's cool. I have to admit that's cool. When I tried playing World of Warcraft, I worked up to getting a pet polar bear, so that's cool. Hey, we got some fan art in the back. Yeah, art gallery. Maybe it's not fan art, but okay, there's cover. I think this is the other cover over here. So neat. Kick me. Is this 6 a.m.? Who is that? I can't tell whose signature that is over here. Is there one more? That's it. Oh, Gaslight. Doing her cosplay. That's cool. Okay, so this kid, I didn't notice until it was too late. I'm sorry, first thing I asked him was, we have a rule in our gym. So I asked him, do you want to sit? And he's like, what? And I, because I'd walked up to him, I was asking, do you want to sit down? Because either he'll sit down or I'll sit down. And the rule is one person stands, one person sits to start, or, at most one person stands. And the reason is safety, pretty much, just because we've got so many people around, and whiter belts don't really know takedowns very well, unless they have a wrestling background. I wrestled only 1 year in high school because my high school didn't have wrestling until I was a senior. So anyway, I asked this kid, and he says, "Oh, I thought we were just gonna stand." And I told him, not with this many people around, and besides. And then I stopped and I said, "Wait, are you new?" He said, "What? No, I'm not new." Okay. Being in jiu-jitsu with wrestling guys sucks because they always have something to prove, and it's terrible until they calm down. So anyway, I figured, all right, whoever this kid is, he doesn't want to, he doesn't want to obey the rules. He says he's not new, so he's probably heard the rules. He knows how this works, and he wants to do something else. That's weird. And I figure he's just pretty new. No, I was wrong. He was a wrestler, as I've given it away. And so I start by sitting. He steps in, and I wrap up on him in what's called a standard ashi and whatnot. But he knows not to let me like knock him over, and instead, because I'm basically standing on my shoulders with a leg wrapped around his leg under his pelvis and one around this way into his hip, and you push. So he knew how to lean forward and defeat that, and we crumpled up quite a bit. At first, I was just kind of, you're gonna love this, Mo, feeling him out. Shut up, Mo. But I just to see how see what he was gonna do. He spun pretty quick, and I have a really bad habit now because of the arm injuries that I just recovered from, where I wait a little too long. Like before, I was just not using my arms, and so it didn't matter. I knew I was gonna get beat and whatnot. It's fine. Because I was barely using my arms. It was improper. So there you are, Mo. I know. Anyway, because I wasn't using my arms, there was a lot of waiting, and I decided to practice how to do things from what's called turtle and blah, blah, blah. So let's see. There we are. Got to fix the chair. Anyway, so now I'm in a bad habit of what a lot of new people do. So I've like reverted to a bad habit of waiting too long to see what people are going to do and then reacting to that. So terrible habit, doesn't help me at all, no good. And now I'm doing that with this new kid, new to me, because we usually go to different classes, and so it's like, oh, okay, instant choke. He knows how to sink in a choke. Got it. Cool. I tapped that one. Not a problem. But he is trying to prove something. So it's fine that I get my butt kicked, but the trying to prove something attitude wasn't quite apparent to me yet. So the next round, we go for 5 minutes. So I just tap, we start over. And this time I sit and whatever, we get to there. I'm giving Blue a conflict. Now he feels bashful saying rear naked choke. Well, we were dressed. So, anyway, the second round is the second time we entangle is the thing I already described about him preventing me from knocking him down. And then I see his shirt, and it's like, it's blatantly, he is not he is not a newbie. It's a wrestling shirt. And I finally read his shirt. It's like, oh, okay, that was good. This was dumb. I never should have given him a chance. So we'll see what happens in the future. But yeah, wrestlers are always so tough to deal with because they have something to prove. And it's annoying. So the attitude does calm down. But, okay. So I like this bookmark. This is really cool. Complex. It's a quantum entanglement. It's what ashi means. It's when they talk about entanglement, that's ashi. So it refers to legs. Here we go. Follow Man. This arrived a week ago by Paul BYRD with some other people whose names are Paul BYRD did story and lettering. Okay, it needs some lettering help. Pencils and Inks by Ben Worrell. I think the pencils are pretty good. Not everybody is Eric NINALTOWSKI, nor does everybody need to be. So there we are. Hey, how you doing, Crazy Mad? And the colors are by Jimmy G. Colors are fine. I know that we criticized this previously on this stream where we didn't really know in this introductory page, like, why is she floating? To me, it still looks like, I can't tell if she's just inset over a different panel or if she's supposed to be flying. I know Paul actually commented on that. Am I sick? Only a little bit. I have allergies. His butt took quite a pounding earlier, Crazy Mad. Yeah, I'm all tired. Crazy Mad, you lucked out. You missed the jujitsu story. All right. So anyway, is she floating in the trees, meaning in her panel? I don't care about that she's overlapping here, but so I don't really know what her deal is because of the way her feet are. It looks like she's either sitting in a tree or flying or something like that. So anyway, we get brought in with an introduction to, and I am going to continue the story, just so you know. We're brought in with this introduction. How do I say this? This page was tough for me. I kept falling asleep, so I had to finish reading this when I was awake. They're in the cave, and the cave opening's behind them. This panel looks like they've turned around, like have they rearranged themselves, like one walk around the other to get to here, or I guess it would, yeah, because this looks like it's deeper in the cave, and then we're looking outside, the same as they're arranged here. So from here to here, I just went with it and didn't think about it. But from here to here, because I got the impression that that we're looking into the cave, that when we flip around and look outside the cave, they should change positions. So this I got lost in because the background is wrong, basically. So anyway, the beginning of the story is pretty simple. There isn't a lot of exposition. There are 2 pages of exposition, which is not bad. I don't like the second page. I think it could have been done differently. But here, this is the exposition to introduce the entire world. Maybe the artist is cross-eyed. Hey! Okay, so 1957, we thought we knew it all. We thought the future was ours. The world was doomed to another conflict, and instead of ending the world, everything changed. The age of man was over. Powers emerged. That's key right there. And then governments lost control. Anarchy spread. Society was on the brink of... it doesn't say what of. Anyway, society was on the brink. Very dramatic. We thought it was a new age. We thought those of us who were special would inherit the earth. That's really funny because the Bible says the meek inherit the earth, not the special. So anyway, but when the solar flare hit, technology died and ushered in a new dark age. Well, what came next was even worse. So where he says powers emerged, here you have this large bear human type. All right. And it says it became an age of monsters, and so giant kaiju, which is redundant. A new strain of crack. Oh, okay. Anyway, so they're living with kaiju. And what we find is they're farming, but when a kaiju comes around, they all run into the caves to survive and hide. Kaiju has red eyes, notice. But apparently those who have powers are able to use them to fight the kaiju, and this is how we get introduced to our characters. So our hothead over here, we're introduced mostly to these 2 guys. And then this guy is really quiet, the one with the wings. He's really quiet, doesn't say a lot. But this is our team, essentially. And while all the farmers are running in off the field because a kaiju's coming in, they go to fight him directly. There are a few pages that are just unclear, and that's one of the problems I found in this book that I can sit on. Hey, Felix. Bail and how? Very happy when you guys show up. Okay, oops, one click. All right, so a little bit of lack of clarity that when I first saw this, there's no indication that that blue that you see right here belongs to the arm of this dude, but there's no indication of what he's about to do. And I don't see off the bottom of the page here that this guy is projecting the lightning. I had to go back after reading it and figure it out. So this guy is Killet, or K-I-L-A-T. There we go. That's his name. I forgot this guy's name. And so then what happens next is this shark-like kaiju, which is on the other cover that I didn't get, and I probably should have gotten it. So it's a bad Jawbreakers. It's not actually that bad. So, let's see. One other guy, we don't get to know his powers, but after being knocked down by the lightning, one of our guys who has a voice in dark letters, that's cool. They're talking about it, but our leader here has a psychic power. Okay, and then this shark-like kaiju attacks to defend them. And I would say it seems, notice his red eye is gone. His eyes are white. It seems like, or his eye is red here. Yeah, it seems like, okay, so he can psychically control. I don't mind much of the show don't tell that goes on in, hey, how you doing, Noah? Okay, there's a fair amount of show don't tell figured out as you go along that really isn't a problem in terms of the writing. Like you can get it. You don't have to think too hard. Stuff that makes me think too hard, like feeling like the cave was reversed on that previous page. Where are we? Yeah, on this one. That always pops me out for a moment. So anyway, their kaiju that he's controlling fights off that one. And then everybody's congratulating Kilat, Kilat. I think it's Kilat. They're congratulating him, talking about their wounded. So you get some world building here, which works pretty well. We also get a little bit of Kilat's character, and the guy whose name I can't remember, his character. He envies that, he put his effort in, but everybody congratulates Kilat. But we see Kilat come over and talk to our angel dude, and he's saying, "Hey, thanks for your help in this, blah blah blah." In fact, I want to read these 3 bubbles. Oh, what do we got? The Weebery. It's Weebery in the sense that they call giant monsters kaiju like weebs do. Yes. I don't know what to call them. I got fewer syllables. Anyway. Gross. Japan used the name genres. We invented King Kong. Yeah, that's right. Okay. The Kongians. All right, so Kilat is saying, "Hey buddy, how are you doing after the battle? I'm fine. You are always well. I'm here. I hear if you have more on your mind, then fine. I hate being dyslexic. All right, thanks for rescuing Zephus. You might that's the guy whose power I don't know what he was doing, but he jumped up and got knocked down. Anyway, you may have saved his life. I couldn't ask for anyone better to be watching my back out there." Okay, it's a little compliment, and we see the dude smile. So the character establishment and giving us the flavor of the character, Paul does that just fine. The writing's fine there. This is the page where we are through him making an argument with with the guy whose name I can't remember. It's written right here on the page, but I can't. Vlast, Vlast, right there. Okay. Through this, and he's saying, "Oh, everybody we have came from somewhere else." All right, and he gives us a little brief lecture on who everybody in the book is. I think this could have been better done with some of the new people coming in and introducing, as a new person gets introduced around and they get to know each other, then you can bring out some of this from, like, let's say she wants to tell her background to the new person, and a little at a time, or the other option is all at once like this. So I don't like this, but he chose, because it's not so natural. It's just a big lecture. It's like a podcast or a stream. Anyway, but it's just the leader giving a big long lecture. So not my cup of tea, but then we just move on to the next page. And so that's fine. They talk about their mission. They're going to go out looking for more people who need to be taken into their village and protected. They do run into some slavers. They fight the slavers, which sets up that the slavers come back, and this is them getting their new people. He's one of the slavers. This is another of the slavers. Big action scene. That sets up the plot. The slavers are coming back. Here we go. When the slavers come back to attack them at their village, they are controlling the kaiju now. Sorry, the Kongian monsters now. There we go. And that sets up for number 2. So I'm not going to spoil the very ending of number 1 here, but they go rescue some people from slavers because they regularly go look for people who need to be taken in. Our good guys, that is. And this is it. This is the world. I think what Paul really accomplished here with this book, it might all turn around in Jawbreakers taking forever. All right, what are we linking here? Curiosities and Emporium of the Dress. I don't know this one. Okay, I'm going to have to open that in a new tab. Thank you, Felix. We'll just look at that later. I do realize saying bad Jawbreakers is like saying giant kaiju. Redundancy. Okay. It's like reading a comic without doing the work. Ah! Well, I feel like you're slave. Anyway, so what I like about that Paul's doing here, he does make a unit, and he does accomplish storytelling in the unit. So that's good. Some of the characters are likable. You can see the internal conflict on the team. That's easy enough. Okay. That's Hockey's book, if you remember him. I remember Hockey, and I don't remember the book. What? You're messing with me, Mo. You like throwing things at me because you know I forget everything once I go live. Okay. Anyway, what else did Paul do well? Oh, I think outside of that one page I pointed out, which was here, this one, it was actually pretty natural dialogue. I didn't find anything too forced or faked. The leader talks a lot. Like here he's talking to one person. He's talking to Kilat. So that's okay. He's giving Keylot a pep talk. So let's see. I won't spoil the ending. Was there anything? There was a typo. Let me go find the typo. If I can. Can I? I might not know whether it's down here on some page. But this typo is funny because it's the letter M where a space should be between two words. And sometimes things like that will catch my attention because they throw me off with dyslexia, and other times I can't find the typo. I know it's before this scene. So anyway, but yeah, there's a typo in here. Instead of a space, it's an M. Why that's funny is because people make that mistake on their cell phones, not on their keyboards. Okay, whatever. Hey, Skip. So I will be picking up number 2, which is on. I got all the links in the description for the video. So, but it's on Fund My Comic right now. I think, yeah, I'm trying not to loop all my thoughts. So give me a moment. Oh yeah, characters are believable. Dialogue's natural, except for the big lecture. There's nothing wrong with the art. You know, it's not Jason Fabok, but I don't care. It works. Oh yeah, except for when the art becomes unclear. So we could use some better swoop lines. There's a very light swoop line here to show that he just swung his hammer, or it looks like he's about to swing his hammer. But you have to read it more to see that he did actually hit the monster. You know, this dude with his hammer, that guy. So a few things were a little bit unclear in terms of showing us the motion. You know, like here where you can't tell who's shooting lightning. So there we go. And oh boy, it's starting. Noah should do a stream like this where he goes over his original issues of Mavericks and tells us what he would do differently. Does Noah stream? Yes. Noah does stream. All right. I'm going to put this away. I don't have like a peeling orange video to be, you know, my intermission here. Oopsies. So to answer your question better about being sick, I got some allergies and they kind of migrated to my lungs in my sleep. Now, as far as this one goes, Paddlebrick Road. I'm sure you all have it. So where I want to start with is before I got Flying Fortress, and I think one of these came later. Yeah, I keep these together. Before I got Flying Fortress, I picked up, you know, I saw Eric Weathers and whatnot and looked at it, and I picked up something that if you bought the extra book, you have all this material. And it was just this little ash can as his original ash can. And then it's got these character sketches in the back. Now, if you got the extra book with Battlebrick Road, it is a much expanded version of this. So we'll take a look at that. And I got 2 because I thought I was still in that phase of one day these will be valuable. Totally lying to myself. You know, they play that song repeatedly in the gym where I lift. And now you've got it in my head. Okay, so notice he changed the artwork just a little bit by adding this fold, you know, paper fold effect on it. Oh yeah, and it's signed by Zeb and Eric. Very special. Anyway, I did enjoy the book. So I liked how Eric really thinks through what he's doing. So it's the same as the Ashcan stuff, presented one page at a time, both black and white and in color. If you don't have this book of extras. Same 6 pages. Now, I did not go back to see how were these scenes changed, but they are changed between, you know, in some way changed between the book and the and this preview. All right. And then we get into new extra stuff back here, which is really cool. Drawings and whatnot. Now, one thing I like that Eric did was or I should say, did not do. He refrained from pushing the idea or pushing the fact that they're using Oz in your face. And it's like, how? Let's see, Crazy Mad says, I don't think Noah streams since I was on there. End with the best. Good plan, Noah. Hey, Hockey. So by that, it's you ever see this? You ever see stuff where they're just trying too hard to tell you that they're making a reference? Like, look, we're doing Wizard of Oz. It's Wizard of Oz. Get it? Get it? It's Oz. Really, it's Oz. He doesn't get obnoxiously overbearing about the fact that he's doing a riff on Wizard of Oz. It's just itself. He doesn't try to talk to the audience through the storytelling, in any kind of meta narrative to say, isn't this cool what we're doing? We're having so much fun right now, aren't we? You ever notice how people who say, aren't we having fun right now, ruin the party? He doesn't ruin his own party. So I think that's good. In other words, he has class and taste. Speaking of which, so if you don't have this book, a whole bunch of background materials. Let's see. I have the best plans, but ending streaming isn't one of them. Okay. I saw this weird clip of Judy Garland talking about being an angry lady and ranting. She's weird. Yeah. All right, so we got some concept art back here. He shows a progression. I think I mean sequence, not progression. I think he shows a sequence. There we go. Maybe it's a progression. And then these are what the trading cards are, so we'll get to that. I think I have one extra trading card that not everybody got. This is always cool when you can see their pen marks in the blacks. That's fun. By Carl Stefan. This is fan art. And of course, here's 8 AM Comics. So if you don't have this book, I hope he has some way for you to get it, because it's a nice art book. Matt Burke, this is really good. That's interesting. The way her hair looks like liquid. Okay, so on to the trading cards and stuff. Whoa, hello. All right. I'm learning to carefully place things aside when I'm finished with them. This came with a poster, which is just a copy of the cover. So you've seen the poster. It's right here. And what else have we got? I think most of you have this stuff, but just in case. So, cool patch. As we saw in the extras. There you go. The extras book. The logo did go through some revisions. So, kind of like that. So, why red and green with a yellow brick makes sense. That's where they went. So, that's what we ended up with. Although these are the same. These look like the same yellow. I don't know. Yeah. All right. So we got a picture of Toto on one side of the bookmark. And there's no place like home. Okay, so one of these cards is an oddball, and I don't know which one. There we go. Gently. I think that's it, just 5. I thought there might have been 6, but 5. So this is just the line art version of the cover. Anyway, but these are the cards that came came with it if you didn't get the cards. I think almost everybody has the cards. Anyway, I like how Eric, or first off, if you look in the extras book, it says that the first appearance of Scarecrow is in Battlebrick Road #2, but he's in this book. This book is divided in half. If you haven't read it, it's divided in half, and so it's really 2 floppies melded together. Oh, check out the. It's not showing. Dang it. That's really bright. Can I get the? Ah, there it is. Gotta find the light. So there's a fair amount of spot gloss over the main figures. For that. All right. So if his first, yeah, I think it says on here his first appearance was in #2. P1, 2, A2, A1, C1. I think this is the oddball card. Or I have a second pack with 6 cards in it, and I don't know. I think that's set aside somewhere. Okay, you guys, put you away later. Okay. So I like Eric's keen eye for storytelling. And I started thinking about it partway through. So here we are at the end of part 1. This is part 2. So yeah, if these were floppies, it would be in chapter 2 that the Scarecrow first appears. Dorothy, there's that image again. She's not a little girl, or no, I'm sorry, she's a little girl here. So we start here, and she's part of what looks like military, paramilitary unit that is going in to help her find these coordinates she got from her dad. And they run into a storm with big monkeys, the big flying monkeys. What I like about this is, and then we flash back to the last time that she saw her dad. So we got 2 time frames going. And what exactly all is going on with the war wasn't entirely clear to me. But the dad needs to turn himself over to the authorities. So he does. This is Henry Gale. I hope I'm getting the names right. Henry says goodbye to her, leaves her with the scarf, kind of like Attack on Titan. Oh, had to make the reference. Anyway, and this Toto unit, which is never fully explained, but absolutely kicks butt, goes away with her. She sees her father knocked out, and taken away by whoever the man in black is. And then she survives the desert. Now, this is an example. So there's where that image is. This is not a cover like I thought it was, but it does serve as a chapter break before we go to a different time frame. So this third time frame is her getting into where she gets permission to go on the mission that ultimately sends her to Oz. And then we jump back to the monkey attack that we saw earlier and her landing in Oz through a life pod. Okay. Now, what I mean by Eric thinking things through is like just creatively really taking, and this might have been Zeb as well, taking time to go ahead and remember how things work. So here we go. It didn't have to end this way, Howard. Oh, Howard, not Henry. Oh, dang. Anyway, for all your greatness, it was now greatness. Huh, that's a hint. I wonder if he's going to be the wizard. Anyway, it was your pride that led us here. And for what? To know that your daughter will die of mud lung, scared and alone? Mud lung. Okay, the place they're in is if the Dust Bowl never ended. So they're in basically a big desert, although it's not quite sand. But looking up or thinking through what happens in reality and doing some research about the types of things that are common, like if you live in a desert, what are the things you have to be careful of? And he includes some of that. That's what I think, even if he made it up, I don't care. That's really cool. It's to me as a writer, to me, it shows that the writer, took a lot more time and care with the story. And that's why it ends up working in the end. Is he did put that care into it. He's not just slopping this out. And I think this was in development for years too. So, and then in the second half, don't quit. I know I'm going through this really quick because this book was so popular. Nobody really needs my input on it. They wake up in the escape pod. They do not know that they are in Oz. They step out. Notice this is a bit different from what we saw in the ash can. But they step out. Somebody's begging for help, and he's got a thing on his face. Toto knocks him out. the lightning bolt. They are being chased. So this looks cool. This was also in the extras book. Or a version of this was in the extras book, I should say. They get into town, and there are people all around her. So notice the person asking for help with the shovel from that I showed earlier. It's not what's going on in here. Okay. So it turns out all these people are being mind controlled, body controlled by remote. So they can speak, but they're being controlled by the Wicked Witch of the West, essentially. Or sorry, the East. Sorry, the East. And some people who are not being controlled help rescue her. She hatches a plan to go in and deal with it, the central control. She executes the plan with Toto. Here is the Wicked Witch. Explains her background. And it essentially is communism. I mean, oh boy. Okay. Of course, Sister West favors eradication over rehabilitation. So there is a bit of exposition here where Eric explains what the world of Oz really is now, which is pretty different from what I remember when I read The Wizard of Oz, like the book. But it was a land that was divided up into 4 quadrants, north, south, east, and west, for some kind of management. Man, I should have made notes when I read this. I should have taken notes. I didn't even decide to bring it on the stream until like yesterday. But, and these AIs have taken over and are all managing their quadrants differently. Those are the witches, or the AIs. Anyway, she, in her plan to defeat, so that she does not become one of the people with a plate on their face or on her face, she has Toto pilot the escape pod to come crashing down. Now, how this all worked out to come crashing down exactly on the Wicked Witch of the East, I don't know. Unless you could see through the stained glass window in the ceiling. She's lucky it didn't land on her instead. That's all I can really say. But it sets the people free. And in setting the people free, she gets introduced to a little bit more of what's going on. She gets a group of people to go with her. And somehow she triggers something that nobody else figured out for years. And I can see why they didn't. That would make the yellow brick road, which is hex tiles, show. It's pretty cool. So I like the creativity. I like the difference between what Wizard of Oz was in the book and what they're doing with it here. It's just its own thing, for lack of a better term. And then just in case you don't have it, they get to where I don't know if we're shown who this really is. I forget. But that eye doesn't look like it belongs. Oh, it does. It does belong to that tiger. Okay. So with all the genetic experiments and whatnot going on, this bear tiger thing, it is tiger paws, tiger head, bear body, and legs. Yeah, it's lions, tigers, and bears. Oh my. So they fight it, and she loses her entire team, and that's how she finds the scarecrow. That's pretty much the whole setup in the end of the book. All right. So what struck me about this was just how much planning went into this, that everything looks like it's very carefully laid out there. I see that, we have an opening and a closing to several events, and then we have the big event that sets up that, oh, this is really cute, but we won't go into that. We have the big event that sets up the sequel, coming up, that they're moving on. So we have 2 big fights, but it's not just noise. Like in every fight, we see something about Dorothy. We see her planning, her growing, we saw her growing in part 1. That's the important stuff. So as far as writing goes, I really liked how this was written. In terms of the art, I didn't go over it with a fine-tooth comb in my head. I just tried to read it for enjoyment as best I could. And that's it. I mean, there's really not a lot more to say. So, it's a very good book. I recommend it. You can go to, I got links in the description for Eric Weathers' site. You can go buy the book and whatnot. So giving you an overview of what all happens, but what Eric does writing wise isn't just having a bunch of noisy events. That matters. He's got his character. He's showing us what she's capable of. He showed us where she came from. Now I care about wanting her to win. That matters before I close the book. Before I close the book and get the next one, I should say. That's what keeps me coming back, is is still caring about her and wanting her to win. So he introduced an entire world, gave us side plots. He did, he and Zeb did a lot in this book. It's a good book. Anyway, I don't know what else to say about it. So anyway, thanks for joining me tonight. That's actually it. I don't have anything more. And it looks like we're at only an hour, I think. Where's my clock? There should be a timer on here. Oh, there it is. An hour and 5.5. Yeah. So I got to find that file. Let's see. Video file. Yeah, thanks for chiming in. I'm glad to keep this short just for your... yeah, there are so many streams out there and stuff. I appreciate people coming by. Come on, load up. Yep. Here we go. All right, I appreciate your time. Ogden gave it 4 out of 5 stars. Cool. I didn't go over this looking for problems, although I really should have. I should have gone over it a second time and prepared some notes so I'd have better things to say. This is just a very broad reaction. Yeah. I trust Ogden's opinions, though. Anyway, everybody, take care of each other. As Alexei Novikov, if you know who he is, as he says, hugged everyone, lifted everyone. So I like that. All right, see you next time.